Just started the reading of the Torah anew just a couple of days ago in Simchat Torah. So we're at the very beginning in Parshat Bereishit, the sacred story of creation. Torah tells us in the beginning, Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. When God began to create heaven and earth, והארץ הייתה תוהו vaVohu וחושך על פני תהום. The earth was Tohu vaVohu. The earth was translated here unformed and void. Tohu vaVohu, הארץ הייתה תוהו vaVohu. The earth was unformed and void. Tohu vaVohu is a term that appears only a couple of times in the entire Bible. And the other couple of times where it appears, it seems to be quoting this verse at the beginning of the Torah. And so the meaning is rather uncertain. Tohu vaVohu is understood to be chaotic, unformed, void, random, in disarray. The earth, when God began to create, was chaotic. Tohu vaVohu. Now there's another way to understand Tohu vaVohu, and our teacher, Rabbi Art Green, in his beautiful commentary to the Torah, which I believe he's just completed, reads it in Hasidic, in a Hasidic way, the way that Hasidic masters read this text. Tohu vaVohu, he takes the word vohu and he breaks it into two words, bohu. In it is him. That's not, of course, the literal or simple meaning of the text, but he hears it this way. Tohu, chaotic, vaVohu, and in it, bohu. In it is him. In it is God. Which means that when you look at the chaos and the randomness and that which is unformed, that which is in disarray, the Torah tells us the challenge, according to this reading, the challenge is to find God in it. That God is hidden, the Holy One is hidden in the chaotic, in the randomness, in the unformed, in that which is in disarray, which we find around us all the time in the world in which we live. And also, we find it inside of us. There's a lot of chaos, a lot of randomness, a lot of things that are out of place within ourselves. And in those places, Rabbi Green invites us to find the presence of the Holy One. I think it's an incredibly beautiful and challenging commentary. And so, I believe that this is exactly what the Torah is about. The challenge of studying and living Torah and living in the world equipped with the Torah is to be able to find in the darkness in which we live and the darkness within the self, to find the light, to find love in the midst of the hatred, to find truth in the midst of the lies and the mendacity which we find all around us, particularly these days, to find peace in the midst of the violence, to find beauty in the muck, to find meaning in the randomness, to find holiness in the midst of so much vulgarity, in the midst of so much irreverence and desecration with which we live, which is part of our world, which is the challenge that we find ourselves in, particularly in these chaotic days, these often dark days. And so, Tohu vaVohu, in the Tohu, bohu, in the Tohu is the presence of the Holy One. It's for us to dive into it. You can't find it unless you dive into it. You can't avoid it. You can't withdraw from it. You have to dive into it, into the reality that is so imperfect and often that creates so much despair and hopelessness in us. to dive into it, and vaVohu, and in it, to find the presence of the Holy One and reveal it and disclose it and let that holy light to shine for all to see and within us, for us to feel it and to inspire us and to give us hope and vision as we live our lives. That, I believe, is the challenge that the Torah invites us to, particularly as we begin reading it and studying it and trying to understand it again.